This is my first time here for the White Night Festival. This hall is fantastic acoustic. It's perfect size also for this kind of program for chamber music. Dolcissimo with the illustrating little kind of tears.
Я обожаю здесь играть, это потрясающая акустика. Здесь абсолютно любой репертуар можно играть. Есть залы, в которых какой-то композитор лучше звучит, или, например, в каких-то залах лучше сольные концерты, в каких-то лучше с оркестром, какие-то камерная музыка. Здесь, мне кажется, абсолютно все замечательно звучит. Поэтому в этом плане здесь репертуарный выбор может быть абсолютно любой. Мы начали сотрудничать еще лет 5 назад в Европе. Матиас сконтактировал моего менеджера тогда, и вот решили попробовать вместе выступить. У него была очень интересная программа, очень глубокая по содержанию, и интересная все в плане того, что мы ее вообще без перерыва играем, без антракта. И даже между циклами нету паузы для аплодисментов. То есть буквально вот как такое одно большое произведение.
I discovered him. I mean, he was even much younger. He's still very young, but when he was maybe 23, I heard about him, and then I started really to listen. I went to 2 concerts, and then I called directly his former management in Italy, and I said, you know, I'm very interested in this young pianist you have the contract with. Could you ask him if he might be interested to have concerts with me? And he confirmed a couple of days later. He said yes, with pleasure. And then we had a short meeting, and then we talked about the program, and then we made this very interesting program out of it. And this is also turning finally in a recording, and we started to have a fantastic partnership.
В вокальном репертуаре настолько много определяет фортепианную музыку композиторов, сольную фортепианную музыку, что особенно у Шумана, например. У Шумана очень много можно найти общего с его фортепианными произведениями, даже какая-то фраза, которая какой-то поворот гармонический. Мы можем отследить подобный поворот в вокальной музыке, и это очень помогает, мне кажется, даже для солистов, когда вот я начинаю уже играть сольные произведения Шумана.
The understanding is the composing self, yeah? And he is so reflected, intelligent, and intellectual that he knows about the text by translations, yeah? And no, in our days, I do not know any kind of pianist who has the facilities and the artistry on this kind of level. I mean, he is for decades one of the greatest, beginning in the past and going into the future. parents, they used to work both for theater, more acting theater, but I was in kind of regular, almost daily kind of contact with any kind of theater, with music, acting, ballet. And then it was very clear. I started to sing when I was very young in a choir, and I liked it very much. And then just with maybe 9, 10 years old, when people asked me, what do you want to become later? And I was not saying police officer or fireworker or whatever. I said, no, I want to become a singer. It was in a very young kind of age for me clear that I want to become a singer. And finally I did.
Schlafe, trägt man mich in mein Heimatland. Ferne komm ich her, über die Felder
My first teacher was Professor Bayer in Leipzig. I studied with him, and I was also his first student. And that was a lucky moment. It was just kind of destiny. I did nothing for it to meet him. It was just a decision from the university, from the Hochschule. And it worked out fantastically. And that, I think the first teacher is the most important one, because when you start to quite young, and then you do not get the right things in the very beginning, then it's really difficult to become independent, because you have really then to search and to compensate. And this is very often the case, that teachers are not knowledgeable enough and not talented enough, and then the student has in a way then no chance. Yeah, that's why it's very important that the first teacher is establishing the right setup, that you become independent, that you get a good feeling for yourself, what is right and what is wrong.
Nun nicht der Riesen stärkste überwand, nicht aus dem dunkelsten Land einfand, an einer weißen Märchenhand. Alles hier die Glocken, und ich wandle durch die Gassen, schlafe
I listened more to piano music and symphonic repertoire than to singing vocal repertoire. I was listening to a lot of Edwin Fischer and Schnabel recordings. Michelangelo, of course, Sviatoslav Richter. I listened also to Fischer Dieskau. Finally, I studied also with him, then later. A lot of Furtwängler recordings I listened to. That means it's a little bit more old-fashioned kind of style, and this is also that was very influencing for my own kind of taste and music making, I think. Die Shostakovich-Pushkin songs, they're fantastic. Tchaikovsky, Pushkin, Rachmaninoff. I mean, there is tons of repertoire. This is also for the future a plan to do this with Daniel. I started with, but now I would say it's a third of my concerts I do the season. I do kind of recitals, but also Russian music and English composers. I mean, it's not just a German song, no.
Bist du mein
And maybe it will change what you will sing in Barilski.
Good question. You should ask him. Thank you very much.
Замечательно,
Thank you.
спасибо.
Thank you.